This is Justin. We're reporting for Dubcnn today, and we're here with Ervin, EP, The Pope. And for all those who don't know, why don't you give yourself a brief introduction and just talk about how you started up as a producer.
Well, brief introduction is I'm Ervin, EP, Pope out of the West Coast. I was raised in Watts, California, and I've been doing music since the age 11, playing keyboards, and I currently play for my church still. So I've got a lot of church roots and chops and everything, and I just took it a step further and always admired the industry and wanted to break in the industry. And I got my first break on a cat named Duracell out of Rap-A-Lot. That was my very first placement. After that, the very next placement I got is with Snoop Dogg on Doghouse All-Stars. The strong will eat the weak is that joint, the gun joint with RBX.
Okay. And you talked about how you grew up in the church with all the gospel influences. What other sort of musical influences do you have?
Well, I got jazz, and I listen to everything. I was fortunate enough to just not be raised in that environment. I went to high school and junior high school in the Valley, so I was exposed to like many facets of music, from rock to pop to heavy metal to jazz to gospel. I mean, so I take a little bit from each one of those genres and I blend it in as that little gumbo, you know what I mean? And I just make good music, man.
Sure. And why don't you talk about some of the albums that you've worked on? We see a lot of plaques in your studio, so if you just point us out each of the tracks that you've done for each album, that'd be great.
Okay, it's all good. We can start with right here. This is Jay-Z. It's my very first work with Kanye West. It was done, this is the Blueprint 2. It was done maybe three or 4 years ago. My first introduction to Kanye was through Angelo at Aftermath. They needed a keyboard player. They hit me up. I went in and Kanye had a track going. It's like, could you play some of this? I ended up playing some of that. He said, you got a bass line? I threw him a bass line. He said, can you add strings? I said, it ain't, whatever. I added strings. And Dreams was born, the first track on the Blueprint. Okay. So that's what that plaque is for right there.
Okay.
Right here, we got Brandy. This is an aphrodisiac. This is actually, the work I did on that is, what's the name? It was the single, Talk About Our Love, Kanye West as well. For those of you who don't know, I play keyboards for Kanye. I've been doing that for about 4 years now. So, I mean, that's where a lot of this work stems from. But also, you know how the game is. It was also co-producing, but you know what I mean? It's dudes, you know what I'm saying? So, Talk About Our Love with that one. And this one right here is Twister. And you all know slow jams. I played the keys on slow jams. I also did keys on Kadonkadonk, and that's that project. If you follow me in this room right here, we can keep it popping. This is Late Registration Kanye West. I did 3 joints on there. What's the name of that joint? The song about his grandmother, Roses.
The Roses, yeah.
The Roses joint. I did Celebration, and I did another joint on there. I forget. This work right here, G Unit, I got on this project with my man High Tech. Did keys for an eye on this joint, The Beg for Mercy. As you see, it's triple platinum and probably more overseas or whatever. And this one right here, this is, who is this? It's Kanye West. This is College Dropout. I did a whole lot of work on this project. I did every single skit on the album. I did co-producing on some of the joints on the album. I played on actually 5 joints on that album. Right here, in the corner right there, let's not forget Ben Harper. That was actually my first keyboard gig. I did Hammond B3 for Ben Harper in 1995. That was my first industry keyboard gig.
Okay.
We can come in here, and we got Miss Demeter Joe. Janet Jackson. It's not just hip-hop. I mean, I can do whatever type of music. Jazz, I got my own jazz band. I mean, it's crazy. I love music. For Janet, we did her single, what's the name of that? I'll come back to that in a minute. But I did 2 joints on this with Kanye. co-producing keyboards on that. Yeah, right here in this plaque, this is my man Game. For this album, I did the keyboards, co-producing on Dreams, violin, strings, keyboard, a lot of other stuff. But we got more plaques to come, man. We got Common, we got Neo, we got, several more, and hopefully, man, we can just keep on getting them until we run out of walls. I'll probably have to put them in the cabinets or something. You know what I mean?
Speaking of The Game, you mentioned that you were working on a mixtape with DJ Ski and himself, so why don't you speak a little bit about that? Well,
Ski is my dude, and he's looking out, man, and it's just incredible how the chemistry between me and Game has grown. From his first project, I happened to, play keys for him, and he just gave me a shot. So on the second album, I kept that relationship rolling, submitted some joints to him. Out of 2 joints, he picked 2, but actually 1 stuck on the album, which is Looking at You, and I'm getting a lot of good looks from that record right there. So, and we're currently working on mixtape joints and stuff for Dub magazine, just a lot of joints all over. So it's a working relationship, man, and it's no telling where we're gonna end up, but we just grinding, man.
So after working with all these artists, how